Yeah, he came in today and I didn't get to talk to him, but he talked with Connie and said that he was leaving soon too.
So he knows he's going there. He's been trained.
Yeah.
Hopefully we hear about whether he got on a free let.
Mm, I would think.
Why? I'm sure he will.
Oh yeah, good healthy kid.
Well, he's got a little pull.
Well, everybody's got a cold this year.
No, he's got a pull from his uncle.
Oh, uncle. Well,
Tough place to work, that's why.
Yeah,
He told me
told
2
him
weeks
that.
ago they were 100 and almost 150 people short.
Man,
Run lines.
mandatory on call 6 hours before, 6 hours after. But you
they
don't
didn't
have any
change
choice.
that with the
No,
lock.
yeah, they'll fire you and write you up if you don't stay. You can end up working 18-hour shifts and not have a choice.
I thought they maybe got rid of that during the strike. They didn't, huh? Yeah, I know Jeremiah Bill. He didn't get tired of seeing his baby. So just- All right. You stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, I was looking.
30 seconds. All right. November 22nd, 2021. Tim,
Present.
Annie.
Here.
Brad.
Here.
Do we have any additions or any desires on this agenda?
Yeah, I think that we need to add to discuss about the overpayment on the bait house operator.
You want to do at the same time we do the permit officer contract thing?
That's a separate issue. Let's do that under new business. I don't care if it's first or last, but
It'll be last.
I'd like to add discussion of the Astra campground software. That could be on continuing.
Okay. Let's see. Todd, did you want to add an executive session or anything this time?
Unless there's one incident to the contract discussions. But we can do
You can
that.
call it at that time.
Yeah. I think it's subject to that.
And the boys are here. Justin
Man,
and Brad. Brett. Brad's already here. All right.
so with those additions, I move to approve.
We had readdressing and revoting on the DACA moratorium. Also, this. Want to revote on that?
On the what?
DACA moratorium that I wasn't present for.
Okay, that would be new business, old business?
Probably old.
Probably old.
yeah, whole business.
Anything else? All right. We have a motion on the floor from Tim to accept this agenda. Brad seconds, is all in favor? 5. For those of you that have you reviewed the minutes and have any changes?
Move to approve minutes.
And move to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes, sir. All in favor? Unanimous.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 1492.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's see, Tim,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. Public concerns or comments? Uh, Stephanie?
Not much, just as an FYI, our first loan payment for the utility loan that we had to take out from February is coming due this January. So you'll see that. And then, I'm still waiting to hear from on amending the budget, which needs to kind of take place, I would think. What is the, like, on the hearing notice? What's the time frame on that?
I think it's all the same as it would be
With anything?
with,
So like 20 days?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you do for August, that 20 days. I think it's the same thing.
Okay, so she's been out of her office, so I've been in touch, and hopefully she will get back to me soon. So we'll be amending the budget hopefully soon. Other than that, I don't think anything else is on the agenda.
Annie?
I don't think I have anything right now.
Sally?
I don't have anything.
Do we have something?
You don't have anything on public officer either?
No,
it's
For
all
most of our
on
stuff's
the
probably on
agenda.
the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, it's already on, yeah.
Thank you. All right.
We'll discuss it
We don't
then.
have
That's
electrical.
what happens when you have multiple jobs.
I don't know if we can. I can talk to Mike, I guess.
Do you have any purchase requests or work orders? All right.
I wanted to be better this year.
The first, order of business out of the lake is 235 West Flint Hills Drive, tree removal, McDaniel.
So yeah, she had emailed me this picture and said that she would like this tree cut down at her expense. She stated in another email, which I guess I didn't print off, that she thought it was in danger of possibly falling down. So
I mean, see, it looks dead.
yeah,
And it is leaning.
Lean, yes.
What, have you seen the tree?
Well, that's not, is that a cedar tree? It might be.
I think it looks dead too, because it's already lost its leaves before that picture was taken.
Yeah, cut water in that ground scuff there.
And if you think it's a cedar, do you want it for smoking? No. All right. Okay,
Do we need to approve it?
they need a new motion. Did you approve it?
Okay.
Well, I think Sally needs to go look at it, right?
But she has a picture of it.
I don't think it's necessary myself, but
No,
I don't know.
Kind of
So, I
like
mean,
the
I would
idea
just-
is there's some official process.
I think it's usually just council concurrence, and I mean, I'm cool with it. I don't know what you guys' feelings are. If you guys wanna look at it, that's fine with me too. I'm fine as is, I guess is what I'll say.
I'd like you to look at it, see if it's alive or if they just simply don't want it there.
Alright.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's dead from this photo, but
You want to
it's not gonna hurt to know for sure.
Or you can make a contingent at the officer's discretion too.
If it's alive, does that change it?
no, it's still leaning.
I mean,
Well, trees lean.
This is Kansas, a lot of them grew downwind.
Yeah.
It just seems so close to the other one. It's like it's on
It was, yeah.
dying. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in my view, they're not asking to just, clear an acre's worth or anything like that. It's just one tree and it's, obviously a problem enough to them where they take the time to write in. So that's just kind of,
That's probably the case.
yeah. It's a concern. So but yeah, if you guys want to look at it, it's perfectly okay.
Well, do you want to table it or do we want to approve contingent on the fact that it is done? Or on Sally's word, I guess.
What do you say?
I feel like if the weather's getting cold, I wouldn't want to make someone wait. If they want to get it out of the way. I mean, I personally wouldn't want to wait on my trees and I know I need to trim some.
Is that a motion?
I'm asking if you guys have a preference.
Looks like a dead tree to me. If it's a cedar tree, the only things that are live are at the very end of the tip.
It's a cedar tree.
I can't tell from this picture.
I don't think so.
And even if it isn't.
'Cause if it was a
Well,
cedar-
Sally gets paid to do it, and so I'm sure that she wouldn't mind catching I don't know.
It looks like
extra
she'll
money?
be out there with a slew of about a dozen other things.
I don't have a problem giving Sally the authority to say, yeah, that tree can go.
I can go look at it.
I move to approve contingent on Sally's opinion, I guess, or suggestion. What do you call that?
We call it,
Advisor?
Advisement.
yeah, that's good. Authorization?
That sounds good.
So if I say it needs to go down, we can call them and tell them to take it down.
Yep.
That's what you guys are saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you, Sally. All right.
You have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Is that what-
Yeah. All in favor? Thank you. 45 West Flint Hills Drive landscaping permit request, Gumshe.
Have you seen
Are you
that?
on this one?
Yeah,
Or no?
you've got, you should have all the pictures.
Right.
It's,
Nothing permanent on it.
Oh.
I am with that. And taking out a couple of the trees are on our property. I don't, it's with the approval, unless it's on the lake, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what?
If it's on my property, I don't have to say about the tree, is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And you're sure it's on your property?
Yeah, cause it's right by the house.
yeah, they're up by the house. I didn't take
The couple that are
pictures.
dead, that
Cause they weren't that big.
no, they're just not bad with the trees in the place. But it's mainly to drive and then put some flagstone, cause no grass grows there. So I just
seems
see
like a weird
myself
getting around
eating the weeds.
So you want to take them out so you can put in something that's alive?
And
Yeah.
then put some flagstone down and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's portable or
And take
not.
out that one
Doesn't matter,
pad.
it's a structure. I mean, I don't know. Things like that small can be a
Where's
structure.
the shoreline?
Even though they're portable.
So this is,
Where's the
It's gonna be
shoreline?
drived up a shed of some
I
small
want
structure.
to see if I can find the
this
right
is tree
picture.
line.
Well,
I think what it is that there's a stone.
Where's the?
Yeah.
There's a stone ledge, basically.
see this
That's
ledge
what I was gonna, how much of this is, do we?
on this picture
Did you
What
bring,
exactly the equipment
is
did I talk to you on the phone?
Yeah, you did. I couldn't in my apartment.
there.
That's what I mean.
See the shoreline
Oh,
right
I
now.
have the shoreline.
Okay.
Well, no.
Look, I think it's this rock wall line here, and then there's trees.
Your drawing here, that shows right by the, at the edge of the rock line on your, yeah. It don't even go to the shoreline.
So is any of this on our,
As far as I can tell, basically, I mean, we'd have to go. Oh, I'll have to go double check on that map and see. Do you have,
My partner was listed, the one who's working, he was supposed to find it, but I don't have it, I'm sorry.
okay,
The plan.
the,
Let's see, I guess here.
yeah, the,
We're pulling it up
survey.
45
on
West
He
GIS.
Hills
was supposed to find it,
Drive,
he didn't get it for me, Frankie.
45 West Flint Hills Drive.
45?
Here's a better picture of the shoreline.
Yeah, 45 West Flint Hills Drive.
This is, I'm standing on the edge of her driveway down here. So, and there's a ledge, it drops, kind of drops off down to the ledge. So my guess where this rock ledge is
LLC.
Yes.
but until I see the survey, I really don't know.
If Todd can
But
put
if they
those out
don't
there.
have a survey, I mean, it doesn't.
Well, I'll have to go down and get one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they
I
don't
can do,
require for you
you
to
know.
get it until they transfer.
What's the rectangle box at the bottom left? Is it a shed or a patio or what?
That used to be, we paid for that, and we're gonna kill that, because we pay money each year for that, I don't. There used to be a building there, and then they moved the building, Dr. Zacharias did. And now the building is up on our property, but that pad is owned by the.
So is this fire pit then technically gonna be on
It's
state?
gonna be, it will be probably our property, I'm gonna make sure based on that, because the building is not, you don't pay for the building, so it's gonna be in line with that.
If everything's on their property, what are we, we're not approving anything?
Well, I just wanted to be sure, because I heard there was contention on things, and I think it's just better to bring it up. to you
Yeah.
guys.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's a good idea. We do appreciate it.
We appreciate
But
that.
the way that it lays out is if it is on your property, it's your deal, so.
Yeah.
Until we find out that it's not.
Right,
You
right,
know?
and then, like I said, anything we're putting down, like if I did flagstone, it's nothing that's permanent, in the sense I'm not gonna put stuff down like rock, and just have flagstone, so it's not so ugly. There's nothing gross there.
It looks good.
Otherwise, we're just the neighbors, so.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well,
So
well,
you're gonna remove that pad where the shed was, is that what you said?
Where that old
Yeah.
pad is, 'cause it's just.
Yeah, you shouldn't
Check
have
on
to pay
this.
for a pad that there's no building on it anymore.
Sounds like we have no action to take.
And even the fire pit looks, if they don't use the clothes,
Yeah,
I
if it's
guess,
not
okay, like,
on the city's property, then
it's not
are
permanent.
you
it's not
guys
gonna be
care?
concrete.
Yeah, if it's on your, yeah, and yeah,
And
if
if
it's
we
on your
find out it
property.
is, we'll just bring it back up.
Yeah.
Just consider it table, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
You
All
too.
right. 367 Lakeshore Drive, rock retaining wall, Brown.
So George came in and said that, which, if you see his shoreline, that it's eroding bad and he was wanting to fix it. So that's what he put in a request for.
Well, it looks
for
like something's
approval.
already there.
I
Yeah.
think it's.
Who approved that prior to this?
Oh, I have no idea. It was probably not. I can go pull
Probably
file.
not approved.
Grandfather from,
It's probably from years ago.
yeah.
It says.
Well, it just kind of looks like some newer type of stuff that other people along there have done with metal and
Those
rock.
letters. Part of it.
Gotcha. I don't know. I mean, I can go pull file if you want. 367.
Somebody's going to replace.
So. Shed. Outhouse extension.
Shoot, I was gonna say, get with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There's
I
a-
told them that
One step
they should
ahead.
do that.
Yeah.
This says boathouse, correct, metal, metal exterior. I guess that's just from boathouse.
Definitely better than what they have.
That
What's that?
is a huge plus right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's for boathouse and docks, so I don't know.
Do you have any issues with it? I can't say that I do.
I don't. I think it'll look better for sure.
Would think with the Corps of Engineers looking at it, at least we know it's gonna do some good, not harm.
That's a nice sitting for people to fish at too. You can sit on the rock ledge. I
Yeah,
imagine if it's just classes that will have a ton of people doing the exact same thing.
Isn't that lovely? That's what you do. You have a home, you have people doing that. Are you talking about somebody putting in stuff that they need to on city easement without permission? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Well, what are they gonna sit on and more ton of people?
No,
are
I'm
gonna do
saying
what you
if somebody
said?
wanted to fish along the shoreline, a citizen, they can sit on the rock ledge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Are you abstaining?
Yep.
That's abstaining. (241) West Flint Hills Drive dock and structure transfer request,
What is the structure?
Gibson to Pine.
The structure is. I'm guessing this, is it the stairs?
Yeah, it's the stairs.
That's the structure.
Yes. I thought he was coming tonight.
They want to transfer their privileges, not their rights.
Well, there's a question. The pictures,
So I think so. But anyways,
the stairway going down, I'm trying to find the correct picture, to the docks is on city property.
the
So,
low handrail.
Right.
yes,
Which that would be the structure,
Yeah.
right?
that's the structure.
Yeah.
Is there survey here, the next page?
Yeah, I've got a copy of it here too.
So is this a structure that they own?
Yeah. They always have. It's been
Yeah.
on there.
There's that. Go back to the picture. It was so hard to take pictures of this place. You see where this line is?
Yeah.
It goes right, like from here on down to the dock is all on city property.
Do the new owners realize that they have to pay that structure?
That's what we're part of the deal. He wants to know if they do, because the previous has never paid. The way he talked.
No,
really?
it's on their dock fee.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just not separate it out, maybe?
No, it does.
Well,
So I don't know why.
okay, so is that included in with the dock fee?
West.
That's what they want to know, if there's addition for those steps and back down to the dock.
Maybe they were paying it and didn't know.
Because Dave thought they were just paying for the docks. He didn't. 'Cause when they did the survey, that's when they realized this was all on the city.
I think as long as the new owner realizes they do have to pay that structure fee,
What's this dock / structure
I mean. should
in the
be-
letter?
Yeah.
This is all them too, right? So maybe, you know, maybe they didn't know what they were paying for.
They knew the docks were being paid for,
Huh.
but not the stairs. Not going down.
Why did they pay
I'm
last
not-
year? So, I mean, I
I'm not feeling like making a big deal about it right now, but for the future reference, if let's say this is on their property and this goes down to the edge of the dock, when people rebuild or build something like this, there has to be a gate somewhere in between for people traveling across the shoreline.
People.
Oh,
Just so
I
that
see
you
what
know.
you're, okay.
I mean, this is- There's no point in telling somebody to go out and cut that.
Right, right.
But any new structure, anytime somebody's
We need
doing
to have
some
that
new
gate.
work, there's supposed to be, and I'd prefer it not be a gate. I prefer somebody to not have to open a gate for them to just see an open path from A to B.
Right.
And we made that decision quite a while ago. Sometimes it's heavily enforced, sometimes it's not at all.
Yeah. So it depends on if you can get a landing there on your stairs. If you could do that, then you can, lose the handrail for that section where there's a landing, and then that's where
Right.
the logical
Right.
point to walk across would be.
It does look like a rough area, so there's
It's pretty steep. I
there's
mean,
points
yeah,
where it's
you're-
not necessary.
If you gotta go down the whole way, then it kind of becomes difficult to.
We don't want to encourage somebody to break an ankle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So did we get an answer? Is it two different fees that they're paying?
I have it that they paid it last year, yes.
Two fees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
$240. So,
Well, that's the
I tried to
answer.
look at previous years, but I mean, if it transfers every year, so it's the same thing.
Okay.
Well, I move to approve to let
I'll
them
let them
transfer
know
their
that.
privileges to the next owner.
A second.
All,
Privileges is the.
you wanna wait
operative
till
word,
Anna
yeah.
gets back, we got 4 here. All in favor? 4. A little absent.
Just give some time.
433 East Flint Hills Drive, dock repair Schmidt.
So this one, I talked to him, it's just a board for board repair. They do have,
They don't have another dock.
they do,
They have two
right
docks.
Sally? Yeah, they have 2 docks. So as an FYI, which is still just a board for board, but they do have 2 docks.
Yeah, we approved last one.
Let's see how it's.
Okay, it's repaired, then you guys don't have to approve that, it's board for board, right?
Well, you can,
Yeah,
you
we
can
just let us
approve
know.
them.
Yeah.
That's, they have to make sure that's that for the two docks situation.
I'll move to approve contingent upon it being board for board.
I'll say it.
All in favor? 5, yep. 433 East Flint Hills Drive, structure request Schmidt.
So this is the same guy. Sally can talk about it. I mean, I think he's just doing the walkway down, correct? To that dock.
Yes, and did we ever determine that that was on the city side or on his side? We decided that was on the city side, there's no way.
Oh, I was
Anyway.
assuming it was on ours since you put in, but no.
It's on our.
Yeah,
Oh, then what are you asking?
that's
it's
what
gonna have to be.
I'm determined it is, because there used to be one there. Old rocks, landscape rocks, but they're pretty well gone. They shifted and moved away. My only concern is not going down toward his docks. It's going down toward other docks. His docks are straight down on the east side of this platform.
So it would get him down to the easement so that he could walk to his dock?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Does he want to build a sidewalk parallel to the shoreline to get to his dock as well?
Or just.
he just wants right in here,
Just that ramp.
just right in this ramp. And it's the way he's got it roped out. It's wherever the picture is. It's as long as it starts at the other side of this dock and ends about maybe a foot from that deck, from that deck. But yeah, they do need something because it's hard to go down that hill.
Okay.
And how much of that is on our property? All of it? I don't was asked, because Tim, you just brought up the gate in the middle for people to walk through. Is this a problem for the same issue?
Well, it looks like he's not gonna go all the way down to the shoreline though. I imagine that's a pretty damn wide gate if he doesn't go all the way to the shoreline, so. That's good.
Move to approve.
Second it.
All in favor? 7 Rocky Ledge dock transfer Miller to Hess.
So they have their survey. This is just one dock.
We have a legitimate survey, is what you're saying?
It's. Did you guys get it?
This is the one right before. This is
Oh,
the one
that's what
before.
I'll shoot.
I think it, yeah, messed up.
There.
Sorry,
It's just right before it.
but yeah. Messed up the order.
You happy with that survey? Well, seems fine to me. Then I move to approve. These guys have one dock, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
One second.
All in favor? 5.
Put that, how many docs we have inside.
Okay. 251 Ponderosa Court. Structure request.
Yes.
Shubra? How do you pronounce that?
I actually don't know how.
Shubra? Shubra?
You got it right.
Oh, good.
I wasn't even sure.
Well, I like to practice my German.
So yeah, they're wanting to put stairs, and it is treated lumber. I talked to them, they didn't put that down, but it's treated lumber that they're wanting to construct. They said that these are pretty steep steps, and is it a daughter? Someone fell.
Yeah,
and
the
got
dog
hurt.
fell
So they're wanting to
and got hurt.
get that fixed.
Those are hard.
And some of those on this picture here, some of those rocks are pretty loose. There was a few places I kind of stepped tenderfoot because I didn't know if we was going to go on down.
Oh.
It's not. So, and then the other pictures, yeah, you can tell they're crumbling really bad. Yeah.
I'll move to approve.
A second.
All in favor? 5. 337 Lakeshore Drive, dock permit request, McGivern.
I'll move to deny.
I'll second
Probably answers these. All in favor? Well, we should probably make sure that it's not like a cousin or something sometime.
No, this is him.
Yes, the same person. All right. We're done with that, aren't we?
Probably me, isn't it?
We
Yeah.
have
Yes.
a couple additions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you want to put them?
Brad wanted to review the doc mandatorium.
I think
We
What,
have
what,
the
what?
overpayment.
Overpayment on
contract.
bait shop.
Well, I put one of
Oh,
those
okay.
here, but that's all right.
Okay.
I don't care.
I don't get that back. You asked for it. Nicely. If you don't get it back, I suppose you have to sue. Yeah, I don't know how to.
I apologize. I can't. I don't know how that happened, but
Well,
I think I have an
I
idea,
talked to you
actually.
about that, and I don't think that it should all fall on your shoulders.
It's not.
Because we all looked at that, and we all have the same
Yeah, we
opportunity
saw the 18,000.
to find it that you did.
Yeah.
And by happen chance, we just found it. So I mean,
I mean, you were in there when I did. so-
right. So it wasn't. It's
Yeah.
everybody's problem, not one, in my opinion.
We also do still have to get the credit card report. We haven't received that yet. Mike said that he was going to talk to her, so we haven't paid for credit card sales yet. So less than that, just FYI.
Well, I mean, if it's argued in some respect that the contractor was underpaid for any reason, that would be a set off in any case. So I mean, it's an advancement over the contract, so, or outside of the contract term, so.
It was about $2,500 was the,
Yes.
yeah, ish. Yeah.
It was that number for whatever reason. Would have been fine if that number was times 7, not 8.
I'm kind of the opinion that we should table it and wait and see what the requested reimbursement is for the credit card. Just kind of do it all at once and consider it as all one value. But that's
Exactly what I would say, is that this is tied in with the other parts of the contract. I don't think it's even necessary to table it. I think it's just deferred until that is all resolved.
And that'll be at the next meeting, you think?
Whenever she, I guess, gets with.
Well, when
Mike,
is she
I'm not
supposed to
sure.
get it to us by?
I don't know. I would think by the end of the year for sure.
Thought all
She did.
Italian was supposed to be October 31st.
I get a credit card thing for my business at the end of the year. I mean, it's a totality. But surely they can provide it before then.
Well, yeah, it's on the square. I don't think she knows how to get to it from the square. So Mike was
Okay.
gonna help her because he has
Oh,
that
Mike Bowen?
system. Yeah,
Okay.
he has that system. So he was gonna meet her and
Alright.
help her
We'll try
get
and
that number.
get that by the next meeting then. Okay.
Do you know if Mike has gone out to the bait house to inspect, see if air condition, or I mean refrigeration units are all working? And I asked him to do that a couple weeks ago, but I don't know if he ever made it out there. I just want to know what we're up against for next year. Do we have any refrigerators that need to be repaired, or is there still water in the?
She had to buy a freezer, 2 freezers, small. She had the small one that I sold to her, and then she bought a small freezer from Tiffany. But they were hers. She paid for them.
But the stuff that we bought, is it all still up and running? That's what I want to know.
That's what you need to have them check.
Well, that's what I'm asking you to have him check.
We can do that too. Mike has 2 things to do.
Just give it a general
I know
look.
he went out there and ran
And the season inspection.
inspection. And credit card, Kelly. Okay. We'll cover that at the next meeting then.
Do you need a motion?
I don't think so.
Do we have? Are we still on the Flint Hills Regional Council?
Yeah, that was. I was going to talk about it. I don't know what anybody else is here for it. Yeah, are we doing that next, or is there anything else? I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what they said.
Are you talking
Well, I
about
think
the Flint Hills Regional Council?
Deb just walked in, so we just covered the bait shop, so Dolly can go over what we're doing.
Deb, we were needing a tally for the credit card, and you said that they said that Mike was going to help you get it off the machine.
Yeah.
And then also, do you know if Mike went out there and did an inspection at the end of the season? If not, I'll ask him. Okay. We were supposed to talk to Deb at this meeting. Do you want to do it a little bit later, or what?
Let's get this other stuff out of the way.
All right. The documentorium then. Well,
I have that
Flint Hills
on.
Regional.
That's at the
We
bottom
did that
of-
at continuing council
Continuing.
business. Flint Hills Regional Council.
I thought we did this up there. All right. Flint Hills Regional Council, Dustin.
Yeah, so Dolly had called me last week and just said that what was it, Friday, I think, when they
Yeah,
had that
when I
meeting.
had to work at
she
the
was
store.
she was booked solid, had to work at the store, and I said I would attend. Unfortunately, I only got about an hour and a half in. I had to drop the call because I had no idea it was going to last that long, and they spent the entire time going over the spreadsheet that was planning and mostly had to do with Manhattan and Junction City area. But anyway,
Major complaint.
yeah, I would agree. But I think they tend to dominate the attention of that organization.
Well, the director that they, yes, they, the director that they had was allowed that.
Yep. So one of the things that was discussed after I left, and I was made aware of by Jim, the economic person,
McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor, economic person in Muncie County. So we currently pay 60 cents per citizen for membership. It works out to like $263. They're wanting to go up to 90 cents. I think they have some kind of financial issues right now, so they're wanting to raise that significantly. I mean, for us being a small city, it works out to like $131 a year. I don't necessarily think that's a deal breaker. You know, in terms of what we can afford. But you know, basically that just gets us a seat at the table and a vote on their council or on their board of directors, which I believe Dolly participates in. But I know in the past there was some free or discounted services which we could take advantage of by being a member. One was like grant writing. We haven't taken advantage of that to this point. So as far as, you know, is that membership worth it? You know, it's not like we've really, you know, experienced whether or not it's been a good thing for us, I guess. You know, as far as, you know, do we continue to be a member at about $400 a year, what it ends up being. But there was the talk of moving some of those fees up, and I don't think we necessarily have clarity on what that's going to be. It's in that email. I was still kind of unsure of a couple things, but Jim kind of outlines what would be provided without a fee. Excuse me. It says projects or grants with a regional impact, projects or grants with a clear connection to the Economic Development Administrative Planning Partnership grant, and projects or grants with a clear connection to the Development District Strategy or the EPA brownfield stuff that we've looked at. And then it says the following services would require a fee: localized planning, localized assessments, and community development projects, including most CDBG programs. So I kind of thought CDBG was fee-based anyway. I thought at least they used to charge for time. I thought it was just billable hours, and whatever time they spent doing your grant, they charge you, I don't know if it's $20 an hour, you know, whatever the going rate for that is. I know when they came in here and pitched it, they said that they're a lot cheaper than a fee-based grant writer who's going to, you know, just charge you $8,000, like a flat fee or whatever that amount happens to be as a retainer, basically. But we're, you know, retained, so to speak, by being a member of this council. But so I guess I would, you know, personally say it. You know, the grant writing would definitely be a benefit. Of course, that requires effort on our part. I'm just as guilty as anybody else as far as, you know, developing a plan and a strategy for the city to figure out what they want to apply for every year and get it put in. And I think it would be nice. I'm not sure if, you know, if they would be willing to come out and, you know, help us put together a 5-year plan, if that would be, you know, and it sounds like we would have to pay for that, but, you know, but just have something to where we have a strategy going forward to where we know, you know,
Justin,
2022 we're
you
putting
guys
for this
did
grant.
ask for them to come out, and
Well,
they didn't. They did not.
I thought they came out and met with you
One
while I was
time.
in Florida.
Oh,
on
well, I
vacation,
was,
but-
yeah, that was a tour that we did.
Okay.
And
That was something
they
else.
were supposed to line something up with you and Mike about the Brownfield grant, and that
Yeah.
never happened. So
Yeah. So.
I would definitely talk to McGregor and see if this is necessary for her to be with them, and that because it was not very easy to get them to come down. There was an advantage if we could have used their grant writers, but they couldn't. They never sent anything. I told them what we needed, and they never provided anything
Yeah.
except for the Brownfield thing.
Well, I know they're pushing that hard for whatever reason. I think they have a grant to write the grant, I think is what I heard somewhere in there. So,
Yeah, Jenny Williams does that.
yeah.
And I like her, and I think she's staying with the organization. The
Yep.
director is leaving. That's why I would suggest that you guys talk with Jim and see if it's something that would be an advantage for the city to have.
Yeah. I'm not sure what other cities that are in the county. I think there were 3 other people.
Alta Vista and
Harveyville and Alma, I think, are all in it, and I don't think Paxco or Maple Hill is a member. Okay.
I know,
So it's-
it sounds good, and Jim's real active, and he's he's been tossing us stuff.
He's on the ball.
Yes, he is, and so we might have better, you guys might have better results
Yep.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see the advantage of having the access to all the experts that they have, but not if they're not gonna work with us and
Yeah.
that other gal is throwing everything that way.
Yeah.
Fort Riley, Junction City.
Yep.
I complained a couple times.
Yeah.
And that's why Jenna started communicating with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, and I wasn't aware of how far that was gotten. That was kind of my perception by just seeing what the organization, when they came in here and even pitched it to us before, they're pitching that area hard, and they've got more people, and I
They
realize
have
that,
staff to work with it, you
Yeah.
know.
that they should have a majority of the attention, but I don't believe our attention should be such a minority that it's 0 or, not much more than that. So as far as being a member, I guess I'm kind of split between, is this bringing us value? I think if they could come out and actually plan, and it would be great to have a plan that we're putting in for this grant this year. Then the next shoe to fall is this other grant. When we get this grant, we're immediately focusing on this one, and just go around. And I don't know. I think we just need to have our hand out every year. It sounds horrible, and I'm against big government, but when they want to give you some of your money back, I guess
I think in the next few years, that's what the plan is, I mean, you've got a big infrastructure project going on in Eskridge right now. I would think that they would toss y'all some money. It would be nice.
What's the infrastructure project?
The federal government.
Oh, yeah, okay, that one, yeah.
That one there. And it passed.
So, yeah,
It did
I mean, if
pass.
there's anything to be done, if that bolsters CDBG or anything where we can get our hands on that money, I think that's something we need to take advantage of. But
And that's one of the reasons why Jim is a really good resource.
yeah,
So,
And he's also working with Brett, who is governmental assistant services, right? Which is Donna and Garrett, but Brett is writing a lot of the grants, and he's who Mike sat in here with a while back when you guys were all doing the grant for small business owners. Mike really liked him, so that's always.
and he bought a piece of the
Potential.
company. He bought Donna now. Does that?
I think
That
so,
was it,
and I think
yeah.
he's writing pretty much all of the grants right
Yeah.
now, and I think he's doing a good job. So I don't know, that's always something too, because we talked about LMI survey and all
Yep.
that stuff with him.
And what was the final verdict on the LMI? We don't need one.
As of right now, well, it was suggested that maybe we wait for the census, but Brett said wait until you're actually going for a grant. Was his suggestion, like instead of just going out and getting
So-
one just to have, waiting until we have the
Basically,
grant.
he wants us to wait till we're gonna do a grant and then mad dash everybody to go door to door for the
Yeah.
LMI survey. I don't like that.
I don't
Been
like
there, done that.
That didn't work very good last time.
And I don't
The
think he
census the census won't be favorable either. If it
FHRC
doesn't
help us
show
with
that we
but I
have-
don't think he was
So I was
suggesting
gonna
that
say, yep.
council do it. I think he was suggesting like having outsourcing that.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to interpret it, but kind of along those lines, one of the services they offer are assessments, which I kind of thought they said at one time that included LMI studies. At the time we didn't need one when they came in here and pitched that a few years ago. I think that would take pressure off council members having to go door to door and ask people. And if that could be done at a decent price, that might be something that we engage them to do. But yeah, anyway, I don't know if there's anything else. I had a big long email, and Stephanie forwarded it to you guys, and just kind of a thread, between Jim and some of the other cities. I think only us and Alta Vista actually answered on that. And I know they're going to have a follow-up meeting to discuss those financials November 30th. I can't make it. I don't know what time it is, but so I don't know if you're free, Dolly, to go to it. I mean, your person's supposed to go to it anyway, but if not, I don't know if you wanted
What day was it?
to appoint somebody. November 30th. Is that current Tuesday?
Mhm.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
That Tuesday, yeah.
I might be able to go on a Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I imagine it's just another Zoom call, but
Be there then.
yeah,
Yeah, Jesse James sets me up at the house.
yeah. Well, and as far as like discussing the financials, basically they had intended to discuss it in that meeting Friday, and there were so many people that fell off the meeting having to do other things that they lost quorum, so they could no longer conduct business. So apparently, they just presented some information that people are supposed to go back and watch. There's a video of it on their website, and that's about it. I don't know if we need to know now if we need to make a commitment. I don't think we do by any means, but especially since they haven't even figured out what is going to change. But
Yeah, they're having some, they're having, the director's leaving, and so they're gonna have to hire somebody in, and she wants to influence that contract, so I think.
well, what you said, Jim never brought up as far as the moving your salaried people to 1 year contracts as opposed to 5. And yeah, I don't know what
Well, they might have,
I would think. You can.
it should be something discussed, that's why they said they wanted to
Yeah.
have people there, so.
Yeah, I would think it'd be better for them to attract and retain talent to have 5-year contracts for people as opposed to one and gives people some certainty. But that's I mean,
A lot of people don't.
really not ours as a city to, as long as they can provide a high level for service for us, which I'm not sure if they can provide yet, but just because we haven't really taken advantage of it. But anyway, that's about the extent of it. So
Is your 5-year plan something you guys want to talk about at a future meeting or a work session or something?
Not tonight.
Well,
yeah,
You
I
know,
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm open to talking about it in the future. I mean, I think we all have a pretty good idea of where the problems are as far as buildings on Main Street, and I think Brett's brought good ideas in with like a streetscape grant and what can we do there. I know we've talked about housing before, but we've never gone after the third section of town. We've split the town up in 3 way back in whenever it was, and we went for 2 different sections with the intent of going on the third. We never did go for the third. So I mean,
We weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
We had that gas line grant, and they said we couldn't have 2.
okay,
And so they went with burying the gas line, and then they didn't get back to that.
yeah, okay. So I never knew that. Well, that only locked us out for 1 year. Should have
Yeah.
locked us out for 1 year. So I mean,
I don't know why we didn't get
Yes.
back to it. It was
Yeah.
during Deanne's time.
I think 5-year plan's awesome idea.
yeah, I really think we got to have something. I just, if nothing else, just so we're not blindsided, and it seems like they do some kind of gimmick with CDBG every once in a while. It's like last year before, they just kind of threw out pool grant out there. And the park grant, when it was thrown out, when we went for that was like a big scramble because of, they normally didn't do it, but now all of a sudden here's a special grant for parks because somebody got a wild hair and decided to do that. But if we had a plan, it would be, it's like, okay, well, hey, that's, even though that's year 5 in the projection, we can take that, we can pull that forward, and we can already have kind of a, if they decide to do like a 10-to-1 match or something awesome like that again. But anyway, I'm done talking again. So,
Thank you, Jesse.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, so yeah,
Permit office contract.
yeah. Okay, then all right. The permit office contract was that with you?
Well, that was just, I believe,
Software.
continued discussion
Yeah,
from last.
Well, I wanted to look at the contract, and I looked at the contract, so.
Is this what we're gonna discuss with Deb then?
I don't know.
Or do we
You
wanna
guys
do the
had
doc-
left it at the last meeting, that you would like to continue discussion. and-
All right, well then let's go ahead and take care of what Brad's concerned, and then we will do that.
Dock fees for that.
You wanna do that one first?
No, you got, well, it is for dock fees, is for before.
All right. Who put dock fees on there?
So
Okay, what's up?
I did. It's the end of the year, and I wanted to talk about all fees, not just dock fees, and potential increases for all of the above at the lake. And I know that we voted on a small 10% increase back in 2019, I believe.
Mhm.
It was, and it didn't take effect.
It started in 2020.
Yeah, that was an extra.
In
Was it
2020,
2020 or
year.
2019? I can't remember.
It was
We
about-
did it at the end of the year and it
Was it
started.
2019 and then it
I
was changed?
had
It was either 18 and 19 or 19 and 20.
Definitely.
I can
I forgot to
look.
print
I feel like I was on
It
council.
was 2019. I had your thing too, and I
Okay.
grabbed my wrong
But
packet
anyway.
of papers.
I
Out
am
the
rat.
door.
It's in
I
effect.
can't
All of my work.
Well,
But
What time of year? We should probably like have a time of year for this. Is this the right time of year to decide
Yeah,
for next
right
year?
before we
Okay,
start.
just checking.
is for 2020. We discussed it like around this time, 2019.
and the increase, like I said, was 10%. And in Justin's letter, he had put in there.
Hell, that's more than that.
I wish I had it so I could quote it. Anyway,
Had what?
I wish I had yours to quote. I'm not going to quote you if I don't have it in front of me to be accurate.
I think we.
I know
But
the
the
gist of
end-
what he said,
Yeah.
something about
So
Is it
basically,
this thing, or is this
small bites.
these fees or what?
yeah.
Or are you talking about
was
something
like
else?
maybe it was
Small bites is in continuing to slowly increase, yeah. I think that's.
So cost of living and
and all of that.
Yeah,
And
that's-
in his letter, I believe that he said that it wasn't that much that we
Small bites.
should or
Yeah.
could. We were trying to stay in line and do small increases at a time. But as far as the dock goes, like I said, I broke it down and it's like about $10 a month is what they're paying. So I do like Justin's thing, but I think we need to beef it up and then get to that increase. So I was wanting suggestions on what or discussion on what you think would be a fair to us to get us up to where we need to be, but yet fair to who we're charging as well. Like I said, right now it's like basically $10 a month for a permanent structure on our shoreline. My suggestion is to double that to $20 a month, which is not, in my opinion, a big increase at all. I did talk with Council Grove Lake and Sherwood, and they don't really have what they call dock fees. This was one of the sheets that I left at home. They basically have, what did they call it? No. They called it
No, you have to have it.
No,
annual something fees, but each one of those places were like $6,000 to $1,200 to $2,500 for those fees. So that would be a significant jump for us to do out at the lake immediately this time, which is why I wanted to just raise it $10 a month to get us up. Because we have a bunch of projects that we have going on at the lake and have no money to do the projects. And we're having to put aside projects that we've already voted on because we didn't have the money. So I'm just trying to get us up fairly to a different amount.
I know that, like, for example, I think it's Pomona. If you want to rent a slip, it's $500, and that's just $500 for you to park it somewhere where you don't even own that piece of wood that you step off onto.
Per year, you mean?
And I guess those two lakes that I was
Yeah,
just
not
talking
per
about,
month.
they called it an annual lease membership. not a dock fee or whatever.
Brett, how much is Council Grove? Because I see them as
$1,200.
1,200 a year.
Mm-hmm.
per doc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
That's their annual membership fee or whatever. So
if they call it a
They don't
membership, do
call
you know
it
if
a
they get other
dock
things
fee.
along with it?
I don't believe they do. I believe their boating fee was like an extra $50
That's what I'm
onto that, which initially when they put in for it, I think it was 100, and then after the initial year, it dropped to $50. Like it dropped in half.
Way behind.
Oh.
Yeah, we are.
I didn't have time to go through all of this, the fees that we have, and to try to I just came up with the obvious one, which is the dock. We can talk about all of them. We can do a work session if we want to do that. I just wanted to have it on here.
Of the essence,
Right.
with us coming at the end of the year.
Yeah.
John, could I have Richard?
I also,
Go ahead.
the last thing that I wanted to say about the lake and the fees and everything is we all know that Eskridge is having a hard time attracting people to come live here. So I don't know if this would attract
Actually,
people
we
or
have
not
a
attract
housing
people.
shortage. We have a housing shortage.
Correct.
Yeah, people want to come
And
here.
nobody can get a loan to build here because then the house isn't worth what they get
You
the
heard
loan
about
for.
Scott,
Yes,
yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
But I would like to consider giving all of our in-city limits tax-paying citizens the right for free boating and fishing at the lake
Mm.
and not charge them.
No.
Maybe
I had tried to get
tackle
numbers
one
from
at a time.
Stephanie. She said the way that we have our program or we do things, we really can't tell, but it could be anywhere from 25 to 30 people or whatever that regularly pay either a boating fee or a fishing license fee that live in the city. So it's not like we're going to be losing a lot of money. And to me, it's a great asset to potential people that want to live in the city. And it doesn't cost us much. It is their lake, and
We're
if they have
trying
a
to get
lake
money, but
access.
we're gonna give people free stuff. Basically.
So,
Richard, we're giving LWID a certain amount of money every year for the road, right?
It's 15,000 that we're
Yeah.
transferring
Transferring
to a
to
thing, so that
account.
way we can pay
We're
them.
saving it,
Our
not giving it.
No, we don't pay them. It's our portion of the road.
We're
Yeah,
saving
well,
it.
how much, yeah, I know, but
It's
how?
15,000 a year, so it's, what was it, 5 years?
Uh-huh.
I'd have to bring it back up.
Yeah, you basically,
And we've
you'll
been
do
doing-
one project at a time and we're supposed to pitch in, so you're basically just saving it in advance.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So how many years have we been doing that?
This was the first year.
This is the first year?
Yes.
yeah, that lake reserve that's
Mhm.
appears on the treasury
Yes.
report now. Yeah. But,
I thought it started last year, but I guess maybe.
Wish.
so like as far as
Discussion was last
Yeah, as far as what Brett said, I mean, I wasn't expecting him to necessarily say double. At the same time, he's used that analogy before about the, being cheaper than a Netflix subscription. It's like, holy crap, it is. I mean, it seems like the value that you get for paying that much is quite a bit. I realize it is their structure that they have, paid money for, but at the same time, it is our shoreline that's leased, so to speak. So I know in dealing with this in the past, of course, we've had some packed houses in here when we've discussed even going up like $20 on those dock fees.
That's why I brought it up at 3 meetings.
Yeah.
To make sure that it was in their minutes
Yeah.
and for them so that nobody could come back and say anything that we didn't give plenty of time or notice.
Yeah. And I know where we, I think it was, this spreadsheet actually has when the dock fees were last raised. So before we did this in, the year 2020, the time before that we raised it was 2012. So it went 8 years. It was like a 20% raise at the time, but you figure, okay, 8 years was like 2.5% a year. So, okay, that's, kind of along the lines of what gets thrown around the cost of living. Of course, right now it's like 6 or 7%, and that's what the government tells you, which is really low because they're always low the way they calculate that. But I'll digress on that. But So as far as this, I know that one of the people, citizens out at the lake, had said, you know, we don't mind the cost increases, but we don't like the large jumps at once. So if they were smaller and more frequent, at least to them, that was an idea that was more appealing. So they didn't like the 20%, but you know, they would have been more amicable to like, you know, a 10% after a couple of years. And so now we're kind of getting into that. Well, it's been a couple. I don't know. Once again, I don't necessarily know about double, but you know, I still think it is cheap. I'm, you know, trying to run a balance between, you know, like Brett said, basically not making the lake people angry and causing them to not want to do business in the city, but yet, you know, still get some revenue and derive some value out of that shoreline. The only other thing I would say is what popped into my head when Brett did say the free lake use for the city residents. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, but if you the idea that popped in my head is if you doubled the dock fees, but then very much scaled back the boat fees. So right now they have the boat fees, meaning the boat fees just for the lake residents and the city residents. So you would still scale that way back for the city residents. You'd scale it back for the lake residents as well. But yeah, so as far as making up revenue and areas, and that seemed to be your concern, Dolly, that would be one way you could shift the schedule around and maybe make that happen. But I don't know what that would do. I haven't put, you know, anything
It
to
does
paper,
sound
but
more fair.
yeah. And the other, sorry, I keep coming up with crap, but the only other thing I'd mention is at the time that was like, I figured like it'd be somewhere around $12,000 worth of revenue.
Yeah.
And that was boats, camping, even like, you know, the barracks lease, the, you know, caretaker house, you know, all of those things.
There was
including
also
around
something
12.
interesting
Yeah.
on there that this isn't what it is, but it was the numbers that you did for the profits for the year. And it was $42,000 in fees from the 242 houses around the lake for the lake residents was what we got, $42,000. And literally the barrack people, those 15 barracks, pay 1/4 of that alone in fees.
Like of that total
No,
or
for
in
the-
addition?
No, in addition,
Okay.
but they pay 1/4 of what 15 barrack cabins pay 1/4 of what 242 houses pay out of the lake, which I think is a huge discrepancy there. Well, not discrepancy, or a huge,
Yeah, because it's
Imbalance?
40 versus
yeah, a
120.
huge imbalance when we're talking about, because we're talking about not increasing dock fees, certain percentages or whatever. I already feel right now like our side, we already charge way too much for the barrack people compared to the 242 houses that are
people-
littered across the
I
other side of the lake.
disagree. The people that bought the barracks all those years ago, it was a privilege to buy them. They bought them for little next to nothing.
They purchased them for
The
$1,000.
buildings that's right. And then they were able to live on the lake.
But all of those buildings were
I know where it was. I was supposed to
crappy
get one of them.
buildings
They
that
were
they
not
saved,
dilapidated
similar to the
crap.
lots that we just sold with the house to be tore down.
Mm.
It's the same, yes.
Those people.
Regardless, they're
Yeah,
not selling
there's-
for $1,000 now, and they're not
Exactly,
dilapidated.
yeah.
And
didn't
their
do that.
value has
So let's not
appreciated
let's not
much.
go off where it doesn't need
That's
to
right.
go.
Yeah.
If you double this year, my question is, if you're doubling the rates this year, what is your plan for future years? Like, what are we aiming for? Like, I would like a yearly increase of a manageable amount, but when my boss comes to me and says, here's your raise, it's not 10, 20, or 200%, it's 2 to 5%. So what's a reasonable increase each year? And if you're going to double on everybody, then like, what's the reassurance next year or the year out? I mean, we can't promise for future council, obviously, but I don't want us to double and then next year's council's like, double it again. Like,
Yeah.
I think people will start to worry at that point.
And I understand your point about the cost of living increases and all that, but when you're comparing what I believe your point is, as well as yours, the cost of living, you're talking about raising it above an already fair amount. What we're charging right now is absolutely far from fair. It's way below fair. So we have to keep that in mind. Do I want to double it every year? Heck, no.
Okay, I'm just clarifying
But-
and for the people who live there.
We do have a target that's way above even doubling this, in my opinion, of before it's even fair to the city. And while I have the floor, just quickly, I'm in favor of giving the citizens of Eskridge free fishing, period. I don't want to encourage a lot more boats out there. Good Lord, we have boat traffic problems as it is. But
I'm fine with one or the other. I just think it's something nice for our citizens to have for their lake.
If you really want to do something that attracts people, they are thrilled that we have a pool in this town. And if you continue to support the pool, that would be a good thing. And if you could maybe make that free. I know that we did that for 1 or 2 years, didn't we?
And the pool is
The
a wonderful
pool is
thing,
in the
Dolly.
cities.
Yes.
It's a huge asset to our community,
Yes.
but it's only a working asset for 2.5 months. The lake is an actual asset 12 months out of the year, be it hiking, be it fishing, being whatever else. And I'm not dissing the pool at all. Like I said, it's a complete asset, but it's only an asset for 2.5 months. And then it's not an asset for,
Well, the pool was made free for a couple of years, and it was made free by the previous board made a decision to do that. And so it was
Well,
certainly their
then they had
prerogative.
fundraisers and stuff.
And the thing is, I mean, their theory was that you would sell more concessions if you had free admission, and it was true to an extent. But you know, as far as that the new pool board as it is now, they inherited it that first year. They were basically already forced to have free admission because it was already advertised that that was the way it was going to be. So they have the records for the year that they had free admission and increased concession sales. But the next year where they had, you know, they sold less concessions, but it's still they still made a lot more money and was able to
No, I can understand that.
yeah, they still had a lot more money at the end of the season, and you know what they made profit. I guess they want to make a profit, but yeah, that you know it was a lot better situation when they charged admission. So people don't always buy things when they're there.
Which is why I said we could support that. But,
Yeah,
but we gotta also do that by them asking for donations stuff. And when they ask for that, then we can
Yeah.
take that in due course.
Yeah, but one thing I would say that I never got to, I'm sorry, on the 12,000 that we went up overall 2020. So like that same meeting, I remember getting here early and Mike was here and he said, "Oh, I need to talk to you guys something about this meeting." You know, that was when we first found out about that road project and that $9,000 commitment. And of course, that might be something that if it was a city, we did a mill levy, we did a sales tax or something because we actually have taxing authority here within the city to pay for that, you know. And basically, the same time that we were walking in the meeting where we were going up $12,000, we learned that we had a $9,000 bill. So our plan to recoup the cost of living for the last 8 years, you know, and something that was definitely reasonable to do so, basically was spent on the lake road or earmarked already. So really out of that 12, we kind of walked away with 3-ish above and beyond what we made. I would make that comment and also kind of put that in the camp to go up. And I'm still not necessarily, I mean, just the double kind of turns me off. I'm kind of with Tim to try to get there to that target.
Until I thought of the double a different way. When I thought of it as $10 a month for a permanent structure to 20, and then I went through of like, what do I pay that's $20 a month? I'm like, I don't have any subscriptions or bills that are only $20.
Could you guys like do like 3% or 5% a year until you get to your point where you want it to be?
But that's
I mean,
gonna
just
take
every year,
years
every
and
year.
years. And the thing is that we're so far behind that we need to get caught up so that we can continue maintaining our responsibilities on the north side of the lake and future projects. I know residents would like to see more things that benefit them, though I feel like the north side benefits them a lot. However, we need to dredge the lake and we need to think about that, and we need to try
I
to
mean,
formulate a
The concrete
plan.
wall, the
Well, but-
retaining wall for the swim beach, all that
The list
stuff
goes on.
The dam.
is huge.
Yeah.
Yes, so I
But
don't
the
disagree.
dredging, but the dredging of the lake is a huge thing.
don't have enough money in the world for that.
No, we don't.
Right, but there's grants
Even
that
if
we
there's
can apply for. I mean, we had that grant that was gonna put a trail around the lake with the dredging included with it. We didn't go after it. But I mean, things are there like that pop up, and we need to be able to have funds to go after when it does, because
Well,
if
let's
we have many.
reel this in. What are we talking about? What are we gonna agree to in Bakery Lady?
Yes.
Okay. No, that lady Claire out there, the crane taxpayer. Yeah.
Oh. Cranberry. That's what I call it.
Do we need a work session?
You should have a work
If we were
session
gonna
in
discuss
January with the
more
new
of these
people.
fees, of voting fees and everything else, like we definitely do need to have a work session, because I need to look more at it. I know everybody else does too, because I know
You
it's a
should
busy
do
time.
that with your new council
I'm
and
in
your new
favor
mayor.
of taking action on
January.
the dock fees now, though.
I'm fine with
Down
that, but I think we should.
Or maybe table it to the next meeting.
Mm-mm. The city meeting's next meeting. But you guys need to do a work session. In January.
What are you thinking?
Why wait till next calendar year? when
Cause
we
then you
can't-
have new
Well,
people
Or
on
it can't be
board.
in effect. We'll have to wait another whole year to redo.
Oh man,
That's why it's being brought up now.
guys were just bogging down my December. Killing me.
You really need that? I mean, you've got the sheet here.
Did we do everything exactly as it's?
I've been
You do
going
a
down.
You did
percentage
everything that
increase?
was penciled in.
You percentage increase, or you can make a proposal by line, either one. And everybody here has the right to propose it, so. From that perspective, just. Somebody could say 10%, somebody could say, well, I want to increase these 3 and lower this one. Or these 12, or whatever.
So yeah, you guys took on all of the proposal fees.
I
Only
think
thing
the
that's
only
different are the
thing
ones
that
that are penciled
the
in.
last time that we talked about possibly decreasing was the kayak fee. Was that correct?
We did bring kayak down, I thought.
Right. Everything else was fine. So I'm fine with the 10% increase across the board, or waiting for the increase till next season if you choose to do that, since we're gonna move on a dock increase or whatever. But
I like the second option. I'm not in favor of raising the camping fees at all,
I don't think so either.
especially since we don't have water and we charge as much as a site that has water.
I don't think the
I
camping
want to
needs
put
to
water in
change
and
this
then we
year.
can address that.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get water in this year.
I don't disagree. I think camping can be left alone.
I'm just gonna make a motion then to move. I'll move to.
I'm curious what you're going for here, because we're all
I'm
on
taking
different.
50 on the dock fee and 10% on the rest.
What's the rest?
Not camping.
Well, somebody's gonna make a motion.
That include
What about fishing?
Do you want to?
barracks? Well, we can't do wild olives because that's a contract.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
So I was gonna say, does that include like barracks, caretaker house? I mean, we can't do wild olives, I don't
No.
think, because that is a
No, that does not
separate
include.
contract.
I would
Okay, no-
prefer it to,
No, on the.
to exclude the barracks.
I thought we didn't have anything in the caretaker's house anymore.
We do.
Sure we do.
Taylor.
Oh, we still do.
He's still
Oh.
there.
That's back to 300. I thought we moved it back up to 350.
It is 350. See the 50
Oh,
next
okay.
to the.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 350.
Okay, is that?
Because the $100 that was denied, and then we bumped it, voted again, and the 50 was approved.
Mhm.
I just read those minutes.
So if you go on by the numbers, we went on 2015. Well, I mean, just because that's what the spreadsheet was based off of, the number of people that had standard docks, oversized docks, yada yada yada. So if you went up, no, I'm sorry, yeah, I guess we're not talking a percentage, are we? Right now, if you go up those numbers, it was $49,000. So say you went up 10%, that would be $4,900. Is what your bottom line would look like. So 20%, what, 98, whatever, I don't know. That's
So are you firm at the 50?
so.
What about the
50
oversized?
additional for standard, 50
Or are you
additional for
open to
oversized.
higher?
And then also
Trying to get the ball
think
rolling.
about like, well,
I want to
no,
be here till
the
midnight.
VRBO,
Yeah.
that's a separate thing. So that's
Oh, yeah, we know
500.
that.
Here's-
Okay, never mind.
And we increased them last year.
Do you know when we raised the caretakers back up to
2019.
When we did this, yeah.
19? We did.
Mhm.
Same thing.
They all took effect January of 20 or 19.
January 20.
Okay.
I'll have a number.
So like Andy said, a plan after this increase is a good thing to have too. So do we want to do percentage increases after that? Or do we want to do $2.50 a year increase?
I think a percentage is okay. I just don't think you can keep throwing, 50% or 10 or 20.
And I get that, but we're at such a disadvantage.
No, I get it.
How do we get to that point before the 10% is fair to everybody, including us? Because right now it's not fair to us.
And the thing is for the majority of these, I don't think that we're at a disadvantage. I think we're charging a fair amount on almost everything.
I think
Almost.
this is comparable to most
Everything on
places,
the
right?
The only one I'm really
Yeah,
gung ho about changing is
well,
dog.
fishing seems
And if we
similar.
only change that one, I'm happy.
So if you went $50 up on every type of dock fee, if it was just 50 flat, $1,650 a year based off of how many docks existed in 2015. I'm sure there's more now.
Oh, yes.
So I'd say you'd be north of 20.
2 years of that and we could pay for that wall.
Yeah.
That's also going to include structures too.
Yep. Every type of
Gotcha.
dock and structure, and even there's grandfathered spots. Apparently there was 3 of those. So
Mm-hmm.
that was when you could do that. So I assume that would go up as well. That's I don't know. So be looking at what 170 for a standard dock, 200 for an oversized, 170 for docks and other structures, and 170 for grandfathered or reserved spots. So right now it's at 120 or 150. So
To get it going, I'm going to move to increase dock fees by
That's not getting it going.
I know.
If you're gonna gouge on the dog fees, then I say we give them a break on the structure fees because I'm more
I
interested in
don't.
raising
I
the
say
dog fees.
raise the structure fees even more.
But they're like sheds usually.
I'm kind of against.
But like you buy it, my logic is you buy a piece of property to build a house on it. Nobody else goes looking for other land adjacent to it to put your little sheds and stuff on. You buy a piece of property and you put what you want inside your box of that property. So if you're going outside of that box, you should be paying considerable more because, I mean, you could get a storage unit down here for $80 a month.
Yeah. How many opportunities does a person have to rent from their neighbor?
And you don't have to pay taxes on it.
And I know
Yeah.
it sounds like it's just I want to raise it, but like we're at such a disadvantage here as far as like what we've been making. They're getting exuberantly more than what we're getting, and we have Sally's income that we have to pay for going out there to look at these sheds, to do for surveys, for the docks, for fire pits, for all of this stuff. I mean, that's an expense that we have to take into consideration too. So initially, in my mind, I wasn't thinking about the structures being talked about because I would want them to be more than the dock fees. because you don't have to have that shed there. I could hear the argument that you need that dock for your house at the lake for your property line. You don't need that shed. So that's an extra. So you should pay more for that, in my opinion.
I need my shed.
Or also, then
Or you don't have a
you could turn it
backyard.
around on them and be like, if we came to them and wanted to have our storage unit or a shed on their property, what would they fairly think would they charge for us? It probably wouldn't be $100 a year.
I could see paying a little bit more for a dock every year because you play off a dock, you have fun off a dock. There's a value to a dock. A shed sits there and protects your property. You know, your outside property. I think a dock is more valuable
It
than a shed.
protects what you put in it, so it
Yeah.
has value too.
Yes. I know.
So-
Built a value.
So just for perspective here, in 2015 again, there were 252 docks, standard size, 58 oversized, and compare that with 75 decks or sheds, what have you. So I just throwing that out there as I guess I would say an increase on the decks and other structures wouldn't make a huge difference in the bottom line, but the docks would be where it's at.
I'm amused that there was only 75 structures. I think there was a couple more.
Yeah, it might be.
There might be.
There's quite a few structures that are
So
on
can-
your property.
Can I move to increase dock fees $50 and structure and oversized docks $100?
Is that a year or a month?
That's per year, because that increases the oversized docks the $20 a month to $20 a month, and then it gives the others, they're now up from 10 to 15.
Track what he's saying.
So
Okay.
So
regular docks
$50.
50.
Regular docks 50, standard sized docks 50, sheds, other structures, and oversized docks the 100
Yeah.
to make it from right.
Grandfather spots. Only 3 of them.
Grandfather.
50. They're the same as a dock.
It's just a vacant
Reserve
space,
space.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the dock fee.
So dock fees and vacant spots, 50.
Brett, was that a motion?
You can make that.
Yeah, I so moved.
And 100
Oversized and
oversized
structures.
and others.
Because then they get their oversized dock for $20 a month.
Yes.
Do we need any further discussion? We can go
Yeah,
for the second.
Yeah, you have a second. A second.
There was a second?
I don't think so.
No, I haven't had a second. Just kind
I'm
of.
having a hard time charging somebody that much more to have a fire pit.
Yeah, I don't agree because I mean you could have the tiniest shed and that'd be unfair. I mean I know it's a standard for everybody, but not everybody's got.
I see what you mean about a fire pit, but we've put fire pits and sheds together. Do you want to split them up? Because I believe that the sheds are worth.
I do too.
I can get on your thing of the if somebody wants to put in a small little fire pit, it's not that whatever. But thus far, we've linked them together.
Keep that in mind. Sorry, I'm just gonna throw that out that you would have until January to split those. Just throwing that out there because we have no idea in our system. So that would be something that our public officer would have to go sort out.
Every one of them.
Just saying.
Because you have this on the permanent structures and the portable ones.
Still.
There's not a list of how many fire pits are out there that are
Oh,
being
no.
paid.
Just
For-
object.
When they did them as structures. So I have no idea if it's a concrete pad, a shed, a fire pit, a gazebo.
Still no second. Hate to break it to you.
Sorry, I didn't want to dampen anything. I just
Yeah.
throw that out there.
Discussion. Discussion without a second.
I'm still amicable to them going up. I don't even think I have a good amount in my head. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just trying to get us to a point
Yeah.
to where 10 or 20% is fair to us, because it's not fair to us right now. Absolutely not.
Do you guys want to have a frisky work session on this and think about it for a while? Well,
That's out of order. I think that you can't, that's an open meetings violation to be frisky.
well, okay. It just sounds like you're not quite decided yet, and we do need to have a little bit more to do here.
I'll retract mine and take out the fire pits and sheds and leave the oversized at the 100 increase and everything else at the 50.
So 50 and
Just-
100 for docks and
Just on
docks.
docks and oversized docks.
But what about, is there no increase for structures?
50 for structures and
And docks.
standard docks, the 100 for oversized docks.
I'll second that.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
There we go. All in favor?
I gotta think my brain.
Is she stretching?
Well, I think it's
Yeah,
five.
unanimous.
Okay, unanimous.
She
I
stretched
wasn't
too
sure
long.
if that was a stretch or
If
a.
it was a stretch
I'm
too long,
thinking-
but
I voted.
Okay.
frisky work session is
And
all.
we can still discuss the
Yeah,
structures.
well, I was throwing it
Yeah.
out there. just
Glad we at
as
least made
something
some
attractive,
progress.
you know.
It's good.
Feeling fishing,
Too
snow.
much
Master software.
anymore.
Hold on.
And
I
if
would
that's something
also-
that you want to do, I mean, could work on it for next year, right?
Well, even if we don't raise it or do anything, I
Yeah.
still think that we should have a better system that
Yeah,
lets us know
absolutely should.
what each one of those structures are.
I
I
agree.
feel like each person who pays the fee, we should have a picture on file of what their item is.
Yeah. And I mean, Sally's doing a good job of working on it. We're working on it as they come in, but yeah.
It's the retro.
Well, when people
And-
apply, why can't they take a picture and email it to you? This is what I'm applying for. Take a picture of the gazebo.
Sometimes they do.
When they apply,
When they pay for their fee each year.
Oh,
Yeah, especially the way phones are nowadays. You can send something
I mean, we can
easy,
certainly.
easy
put that
peasy.
on
Put
the
it in a
letter.
letter.
it would probably be, because one of my goals is to start walking around the lake and take pictures.
What
I've
a
ever-
great
So
idea.
what was this software about?
That's a great idea.
What was
I
the
suggested
software
it
about?
about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well,
It
yeah,
is.
it's just
Okay.
Okay,
time consuming,
so,
I know.
and I gotta get all my resources.
Okay.
first.
Okay, can we talk about software now?
okay, so I brought up several months ago the Astra software for the bait shop, which if you don't remember, the fees are all paid out of, there's a fee for each credit card transaction, which we already do pay. So it wouldn't be any different. Then there would also be a like per camp spot fee that they would take out as part of the transaction. So if we charge $18, it's like a percentage of that. I don't know all the figures off the top of my head because it's been a while since I looked. And the problem is that there's a 3-year commitment to this. So whatever we do, we need to probably, I don't know if we need to add it to the contract for the bait shop, the next bait shop person for 3 years. Requiring that they use the software, because I assume that's part of their contract that we use it. And then the other
Well, if the
Sorry,
city
my brain's not
purchases
right.
it, then they would have to use whatever the city
don't-
provides.
purchase it, but yeah, we
Training.
Yes, subscription.
yeah, they would get training. They would have it's a year subscription, but the subscription is paid only out of the fees that are charged during the usage. Basically. But there's a lot of setup and paperwork to get underway, and I don't want to leave it, till the last minute. And then in March we've got nothing. So
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Is this the one that if somebody's trying to book at Council Grove, it's all full, it'll say, hey, there's a spot down the road?
well, it gets us a spot on Reserve America. So I assume I don't know if you use that software or not, but that website. But I don't know. Do they suggest other?
I don't know if they suggest it actively, but I mean, as a person that's looking to camp at a lake, it's, I don't know. Do they do the show me all the lakes within 50
I mean, you
miles?
should be able to do a
Show
search
me all the
area.
lake within 100. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they do have something.
I think
like that.
something like that.
I think he said something about like 17 million users. So I mean, I wouldn't be sad about that part, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It should give you some kind of range that you could check. But he also said he would walk anyone through it if you want to take a look at it. I thought the great part about this is that Stephanie could have one of the licenses and she could actually see everything that's going on without having to communicate, basically. So she can print our forms out before.
Yeah, and they were just like adding a surcharge to the
Yeah.
to the reservation. It was per reservation. It wasn't like per night for camping.
I don't
Is that-
remember. I would have to check that again. So
I wanted to say that's what it was. And I think that's an easy pass through too. I mean, if you, as far as charging for that, and of course, if they've already paid for it online, then that's,
Yeah, and then it's ready to
and, then-
go.
and like you said, that's, you know,
It does
we'll
require
reimburse the debt for that now. So that's,
consistent internet. So we have to ensure that that's working correctly, or they won't know who's coming in.
That's a big issue.
yeah.
We've all had trouble with that.
Well,
Not like out the bait house.
you can't do certain things like to check it every now and then, but basically, yeah, you need some the hardline software is not worth the money because it was like $3,000 to purchase the software or more. And yes, you still get a lot of the perks, but it'd only be on your computer, and basically if your computer crashes, there goes your data. So it would require that they back up, or we back up, whatever happens. But if we purchased it out of pocket, that would be a lot of money. But this is the per fee. If any of you has a subscription to anything, you're already doing this method, basically. So
I really liked it. I think we need to get it going.
Who's the one that you had found out about?
That was my software. So Summit, and I didn't follow up with them. I just said that we were talking about Astra as well, but basically we would pay to put everything over. Like, oh gosh, I can't remember. It was going to change some things with my software because it would change like utility billing, but basically everything would be in the cloud, and then the city would have this added on as like a fee or a lease, basically. But you could like set it up as like camping permits and lake permits. So, but it would be through our software that we use for utility billing.
I know I'm gonna be the annoying one, but is there a chance that we can get a spreadsheet so we can compare the pros and cons of these two systems? Because I'm on board with getting something, but I wanna.
I think, well, we had, never mind, the spreadsheet was comparing the different plans of the Ad Astra, but
Yeah,
site
I
first.
didn't send
remember.
it.
yeah, the thing that I remember from that conversation was like, with the software we're using for the city billing system, we were just kind of adapting that and making it work, or at least that's what I felt like, making it work where this is like a holistic solution where they've got, like you said, we're listed among Council Grove and all these other.
it's not just.
I mean,
all these
yeah,
other
because this
ways
is
that-
not a software that's like set up specifically for camping. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be something that they would be modifying for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
thing that,
For sure.
yeah, the one pro I could see is like it all being automated to the point where it's like you're not doing any data entry. It's just all dropping in there,
Mm-hmm.
as far as you keeping track of it.
Yes.
But I don't know if you do much beyond like, we sold 50 permits. I mean, you're not entering, we sold one permit to so-and-so, one permit to,
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I just go through the receipts that they turn in, and then I put them in a spreadsheet, which I just do that for you guys so that you guys can see how much we sold in camping. And then I just enter that into my system right now.
okay.
So like we sold this many as like a whole number in my system. We sold this many for this week. If that makes sense at all. Like from July 4th to July 9th, I'll enter in my system. Like we sold this many in camping permits. We sold this many in boating. So, but on my spreadsheet that I give you guys, that's where I kind of break it down. But yeah.
And you should be able to run any report you want out of this.
I
I
like
will
that.
say that.
Yeah,
Dude.
I really like this.
He showed me a massive list already in the system. He did say permit issuing is not something they have like already in there, but that it shouldn't be hard to customize to exactly what we want and need to be on there. It also allows them to run their store off of this software. So they can literally like what's the one we use locally? Oh my gosh, my brain's not working. Anyway, that Mike uses.
Square.
Square. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like Square, where you can set up each product in your store on there and literally just hit the button, add it to the cart, and then check your people out. And it like goes one step further to where like if they're camping in your campground, the system will remember their card number and you can charge it to their campground. So it checks it out to their card basically. So if they forgot it, you can still run it through. Like if you're in a hotel room and you're like, charge my room, basically.
Yeah.
But
Or if they
without
damage
making
something, you can.
well, you'd have that anyway. If you're running any
That
kind of
part would
credit
be
card
cool, but
system.
that Square system's pretty powerful. I don't know what your opinion of it is, Deb,
I
but
liked it.
yeah.
It would be a lot like Square.
I've never seen anybody that doesn't like it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be a lot like Square. It's just it's
Yeah.
and it uses another massive organization to run credit. It wouldn't be through them even. It's like
Oh,
their
okay. Yeah.
Third party.
it's God, it's their name, I'm sure. I just can't remember it.
Yeah, I think that would be really handy that charge my room, but then if you stayed with Square, within the store, it's like, how do you account that somebody, they bought the candy bar or whatever, but how do you press a button on there? I guess the payment method could be via, whatever, but then that money would go to us. So that doesn't make sense for buying the candy bar in the store, I
That's
guess.
true, I guess.
Just
That's the right
realized
place.
that, yeah. So
Okay,
that's-
I'll check about that too,
yeah, so I don't know if that's,
because they're separate.
it'd be cool. I just don't know if that's for us, because that's,
Well, and that may be contingent on setting this up because they do get that credit card fee out of that, and since we're not paying subscription fees or software fees, then they may require that we use that site as well. I don't know.
yeah,
I'll check.
talk about it. How bad do you want us? I don't know. I'm sure we have not a lot of leverage, but whatever.
I'll call.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys have any other questions, like shoot me an email, or if you want to talk to him yourselves, I would like that as well because honestly, he's very good at explaining how this actually works.
Do you think we need to have it up and running by the beginning of the year, or is it more like
think-
beginning of the season?
I think we need to
Like
have it before the season, but I think we could probably get it in about a month.
Yeah.
I think the sooner the better, but yeah.
Yeah. I think
What,
the internet.
March 1st is season, right?
Yeah.
I think is it March 1st? I think that's when they are out there. Is like the middle of March. But doesn't it start April 1st?
I think there's a significant amount of paperwork and then
When's Memorial Weekend? That's May. When did you open this year?
It's April.
First day.
April.
Yeah,
First April,
so
sorry,
it's
so I'm off
the
the month.
First of April when they open.
Yeah.
So there's also a training that
And then
comes with it, so
Oh,
they can
I'm talking about
train
when the park
whoever's
opens up.
starting the bait shop basically.
so
Yeah.
that's when they go out there and
Yeah.
pay.
And stuff.
And then it is.
I think it's great. I don't know
Okay.
what more like.
Are you guys gonna do a little bit more research on it?
I can
or you
talk to
wanna vote
Stephanie and we
tonight?
can compare the two and
Yeah,
then come back.
for
Does
sure.
that sound good? Does everybody like
Okay.
that idea?
Yeah.
I can answer these questions too. So I would probably like to get it voted on
Before the
by
end of the year.
January or I mean, end of year would be great, but by January for sure.
You want it on the next meeting so that you guys,
On the next lake meeting would be fine. Does that sound
Okay.
good? Or no?
Let's try to get it next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
we
next
might-
Yeah,
lake
in
meeting
case
is right
something
before
happens, we
Christmas,
have
and
it.
usually we come in here and say, okay,
Yeah.
move to adjourn.
Merry
Fine.
Christmas.
We're
Yeah,
talking.
business
ho.
to the 27th.
Here's some cookies.
there you go.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no,
That idea.
he wants to talk about the dock.
Are
Mine's,
you guys
pretty-
gonna talk about that?
mine's pretty simple. I want to revote on the dock moratorium.
Why?
Because
What is
I
the
would-
dock moratorium, by the way? Let's refresh it.
I
review
would
it.
like to stop all new builds of docks, period, until the city council can get together and figure out who does and who does not qualify for a dock. We have people living a quarter mile away from that lake and have the dock on that lake.
Who?
Kraus has one. Teresa Kraus's dad, right? Is Rex or Rex Kraus?
He probably got one because of his property that we've got a
I
pond
would,
on
I
it.
would venture to say that his grandfather,
Yeah.
could be one of those three, like,
Yeah, what?
that would
Yeah.
have been a original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
But-
it would
I
probably.
don't know. I mean, yeah.
Point being, as much as they're trying to grow out there, at some point in time, you're not entitled to have a dock. At some point in time, I mean, can I have a dock? I live right here in Eskridge. Can I have a dock out there? No, obviously I'm too far away, but so at what point in time, at what tier determines that say, hey, you're tier 7, you don't qualify for a dock? I mean,
Well, even in like tiers, it's like distance from the lake, because you can be second tier and be, you know, so many feet from the lake, relatively close in some places. You could probably be second tier and be, you know, double that distance or more in other places. So I mean, as far as being, you know, third, fourth, you know, there's some third or fourth tiers that are still, I mean, I'm not sure on this, but I would just guess maybe third or fourth tiers that are still within that Flint Hills Drive. But I mean, to me, Flint Hills Drive is kind of the logical place to stop that. I mean, anything that's inside of that
but that hasn't been decided.
drive.
And that's the reason I want to vote on it.
But
I want to
you know,
stop all the new bills until that can be decided. I wasn't present for that vote, and I would like to re-vote on it, because had I been here, it would have went a different way.
Here's the resolution that I drafted. I want to, because you said something, I want to be clear about what this says if you're talking about adopting this. And new builds, I want to be careful about that. Anybody who's had a permit approved already would not be included in that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Because those are vested rights and we don't want to interfere with those.
Yeah, anything that's already been approved is fine.
And basically the way I did this, any permit submitted with a paid permit fee prior to passage shall be reviewed in due course and shall not be deemed invalid based upon the moratorium. However, any permit submitted without appropriate payment of a fee or allowed to lapse without construction shall not be considered by the city council. And it doesn't apply to repairs or improvements to existing docks.
Well, what you're talking about is not a bad idea, Brad, but why don't you guys just get busy and have a couple of work sessions?
Because this council likes to drag things out and take 2 years to decide something that should only take a month.
Well, just because you decide it now, you might get changed later.
Either way, my motion is to approve this this resolution.
Okay, well this is the same form that I had in my file.
It's the same one you guys voted on when I was gone. I had a heart attack and I was gone in the hospital, and I didn't get a chance to vote on that.
Well, let's just, for the purposes of discussion, give it a number so that you can. So it would have been
11/22/21.
11/22/21. Okay, so you're moving to pass 11/22/21.
That's correct.
Does anybody have anything else to say?
Well, you gotta have a second.
I'm waiting for a second.
Yeah, that's right. Before
Or I can,
I mean, I don't agree with it, so I just,
I don't feel like we
the
need
second
to-
will not come from me, so.
Halt it just to make this decision.
Oh, what?
I said I don't think we need to
Uh,
have a moratorium just to make those decisions.
If you don't, you'll never make the decision.
Oh no, I have no problem having a work session to talk about this or
I mean,
do however we want to do. But
Yeah.
as I agree, I don't think you should be in the Flint Hills and have a dock.
yes.
But
At some point, it stops. I mean,
I get it. I don't know what.
and right now there is no point. Right now, anybody that decides they qualify for one, is going to say they qualify.
the council has to approve it though. They have to say.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with somebody in Eskridge getting one. I mean, you know, what was that 51st tier? But I mean, you know,
I wouldn't want it in the
Yeah, I mean,
pasture either.
I don't know. We just haven't had as that many, you know,
Close calls.
true outliers or whatever, you know, where somebody is like trying to apply a quarter mile away or whatever it happens to be to where I feel something like this is actually necessary. The only thing that I can think of is like that Buffalo Spirit area that's kind of up, and it would be outside of Flint Hills Drive, and it would be therefore excluded if that was the boundaries. I don't know how close that is to, you know,
Well, Buffalo
Just to
Spirit
make
has
that-
4 cabins now,
does it?
Oh,
Yeah.
and they all have docks, correct?
Oh, do they?
I know one
No.
has a dog.
Okay.
What's
So I don't
I'll
know.
have to look at
I still
the
consider that to be out at the lake, but you know, to me, there's not a whole lot of value in something like this until somebody like, you know, Tim Weedow that's kind of got, you know, all the land on that one side, you know, until you have somebody with a lot of pasture land around there that sells out.
Well, there is a huge section.
decides
I
to
mean, the
water it,
Manses have already bought that and have built a big barn and other
They want to go,
stuff up
right?
the side of the USA Hill.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I guess I was for this moratorium, and I have also talked to people out at the lake, and I have got not one person that I've talked to, which is about a half a dozen to a dozen, that have said that this is a bad thing. So I'm going to second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.
That's the only caveat. So that
Yeah, you might.
I think it's the same as I said. So if you don't find the word version.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you guys wanted to continue discussion with Debbie here about the complaints that we've had or that you've had. And now that she's here and we've got some time, Tim, would you like to? Because yeah, we need to have this discussion. So let's.
I think we already went through the complaints, and I think
When?
we
When?
direct
In
we-
executive
hold on.
session, right?
Hold on. Yes, we did. But in executive session, I do believe that we directed you to talk with Deb about our concerns and complaints. Did we not?
No. You wanted to, I was sitting here telling you that we needed to have a discussion with her, with you guys, discussion with her. Because secondhand does not work. You need to discuss what your problems was or what, and you shouldn't be in bed.
God's sweating.
Let's just talk more about what's going on in executive session.
Well, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen.
Well, and I understand that. I'm just going to say, let's start from
Yeah,
today and not worry about what
yeah, let's go ahead and
executive
have that
session did or did
discussion.
not do.
Annie wanted to talk and I think, and I definitely would like to get started on that, so. Well,
Before we get started, it was aware to us that we had overpaid you all year long, and we just was aware of that within the last week. I just didn't know if you were aware of it, that you were getting paid extra money every paycheck.
I called and talked to you and told you about that about that extra payment.
You paid me what was said on the contract.
The 25, because I went off the monthly rather than the 18,000.
But that- but we've all-
Those two
That's
numbers
what
were in
the
conflict.
contract.
That's what it was. So there is
Should've
on
wrote
the
it up
contract, it says she is to be
That's
paid.
what I was wondering.
Yes. So I didn't know if you guys understood my email. I was frazzled. So it says the operator shall receive $2,571.42 per month during the term of this agreement beginning April 1st and the final payment on November 1st. So that's exactly what I did. However, if you add those up, those do not total 18,000. It's $2,571.42 over 18,000. So it would be that if it was, say, May 1st through November 1st.
So it's like 8 payments were made instead of 7.
Yes. Which is what the contract says, to pay April 1st through. It was just something that unfortunately I did not catch until it was too late.
So it's a contractual mistake. So, I mean, does our lawyer have
I don't have an opinion for the general public. No, I don't have one.
Because the
Do we need to
contract says
go
both. It says
to
18
executive
and
session?
it
That
says
might be wise if you wanted to
I
figure
moved
out
to-
what it means
Go to executive session for attorney-client privilege
for 10
for
minutes.
10 minutes.
That's like,
this
That's what I was gonna do.
Take,
Second.
Yeah. Somebody
Okay.
seconded it.
Yeah, okay. I will try to be speedy.
I had a feeling it was gonna go into this. 'cause I thought it was on the contract.
8:55.